What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley. Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
We all live in a broken, combusted, not yellow submarine. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another episode of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB, it's Dylan, it's Christian, the gang back together again, all in one podcast frame for the second episode in a row. We are back in the MCU for the first time since August of last year, so that's exciting. So we're going to talk about Secret Invasion, man. Episode 1. Give our thoughts, our takes on everything that went down in the premiere episode. We're going to get into the Titan Submarine Saga because it all connects to the one and only James Cameron, so we have to talk about that. And then, of course, we'll get into the streaming platform Multiverse news and notes. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. You can follow Dylan on Twitter at Dylan Mazzola. You can follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI. You can follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you decide to get your podcasts from. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It does go a long way for helping more people find the show, helps people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and helps our company grow and take this thing way higher than that submarine could ever go below the depths of the ocean. And Dylan, say the line.
That was nice. You are to that Kyle, Kristen, myself. Let us know what you want us to watch next. You're going to do that in the reviews in the comment section of YouTube. Obviously, good ones, but let us know what movie or TV show you want us to watch next. And it can be on any of the servers. We have them all. Besides Kyle, out of Max. Still. Still going.
We love it. We love it. So yeah, leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple and Spotify. And of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. It's where you get full video episodes of this show and every podcast on our network. You get clips, live streams, original video content. It all goes on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And be sure to get your merch from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. They're the best in the game. There's no doubt in our minds you'll stand out when you're going to hang out with your friends, to watch Secret Invasion, when you're going to the movies, or, Netflix and chilling maybe. Get your StreamerSZN merch exclusively at phiapparel.co. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any and all merch orders. It's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here at StreamerSZN and Underground Sports Philadelphia. But boys, let's get into it. The highly anticipated, long-awaited next installment into the Disney Plus television content world of the MCU. It is Secret Invasion Episode 1. Loaded cast, like we talked about last week with our preview. We get to see a ton of this loaded cast in this episode. Nice runtime for a premiere, too. I think, excluding the credits, it was about 45 minutes. Love the runtime. I think they fit in a lot to tell the story. I do want to ask Dylan this. Dylan, were you able to watch Wakanda Forever?
I honestly didn't even watch it. I just watched the show. I don't really think anything stuck out so far. I mean, if you
just
guys
wanted to hold back any theories that might have spoiled anything from So I wanted to get ahead of it. That was my spoiler warning. But yeah,
spoiler warning.
I didn't expect the show to start off in Moscow, so that was an interesting little twist. And I don't know. I could be. Has the MCU been in Moscow before?
Yeah, weren't
Black Widow?
Wasn't?
Oh, you're right.
Where was Scarlet Witch and Vision hiding out?
That's the other one I was thinking of too. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait a minute.
Mm.
Vision and Wanda were hiding out somewhere in Russia, I'm pretty sure. And then yes, Black Widow.
I'm gonna quickly check that. Infinity War.
And then Bucky obviously did a couple stints in
True.
No. I'm trying to read through. No, they were in Edinburgh, in Scotland. Wanda was in Scotland.
Okay.
Scotland. I'm sorry, any Scottish listeners.
But yeah, I mean, Black Widow. Obviously, they were in Moscow. And unfortunately, we do say "Dos Vidania" to beloved MCU character in this episode, which we'll get into in just a minute. But we start off,
or do we? Because we don't. We probably, but you know.
We'll get to it. Christian, did you drop the spoiler warning?
I'm gonna try. Christ, can I do Ben Mendelsohn? No, laser. Yeah, okay. Let's give this. Laser. No, I can't do it. Ladies, no, I can't do Sam. I can't do Sam Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your friendly neighborhood Skrull. Spoiler warning. If you haven't watched Secret Invasion yet, please go pause this podcast real quick. Go watch a nice, or maybe not that nice. We will discuss about that episode of Secret Invasion. Come back, press play, and you will hear us talk about Secret Invasion Skrull. Please leave a message after the beep and enjoy your episode. Beep!
Motherfucker. Had to drop that in there for Samuel L. Jackson. So we start off in Moscow, where Talos pursues Mr. Everett K. Ross for killing CIA agent Prescott, who theorized Skrull rebels are plotting to incite war between Russia and the United States, with the AAR, the Americans Against Russia, which he was believing that Skrulls were out and infiltrating all of these terrorist organizations to pit the world against one another, and if they succeed, the human race would cease to exist. Pretty morbid really start too. That's the thing that we find out, because it wasn't. It was a Skrull version of Ross, which threw my brain for a loop, because I think when everybody was doing their predictions, not just us, but everybody on the internet who covers this type of content was doing their predictions, nobody name dropped Everett Ross as a potential Skrull stand-in. As an MCU character to be revealed to be a Skrull.
Well, no. So here is my question though: was that the actual Ross?
That was fighting Prescott.
Yes, because here's the thing. This is probably ruining my fundamental understanding of Skrulls, but given how we see Ross broken out at the end of spoiler Wakanda.
That's fine.
Doesn't ruin really anything.
I haven't seen it.
But like, is
my fault. So just go.
And this is the whole thing. I'm like, I don't understand all this because like he was broken out by the Wakandans. So
Correct.
Why would he be working with the U.S. government if they're the people who are after him?
So he's kind of the liaison still, which we learn, obviously, between the Wakandans. He's like one of the few like U.S. government officials that the Wakandans actually trust, and the U.S. government, obviously.
Yes, but we don't see any of the Wakandans, which is why I'm like, was that the actual Ross?
I think it just
or was Ross always a Skrull? Like this is the part I don't get, and I'll talk about something later on about how like this episode like should have done quite a few things differently, and it could have been like really good, but yeah. Anyway,
What were you saying, Dylan?
Well, I was gonna say, for the sake of the Skrulls, I want to say in the comics, Talos is very different, and he's not the good guy. In the comics, he can't actually shapeshift. Like he can't change. He can only stay in like alien form. So he's actually just kind of like a laughing stock. But he's not really like he wanted to do Secret Invasion in the comics, but they were like, "Nah, you can't shapeshift, dummy. Like you'd blow it." And I think the whole Ross thing, I didn't see Wakanda Forever. I just think it foreshadows with the Ross interaction and then the brief interaction with the president and Rhodey. That just foreshadows that they are also Skrulls because they say deal with it. And Ross is also dealing with the other agent. So it's just kind of showing you that you can't trust anyone.
Right.
Like, AKA the government officials are all Skrulls.
And I think the other thing, too, like when you see who you think is Ross jump off that building, obviously, he turns into a Skrull, which is how you determine if it's the actual person or if it's the Skrull version. Because if they are injured or killed in that capacity, they revert back to their Skrull self, which we saw a couple of times throughout this episode with kind of minor characters. But I think some of it does stem back, and I'll get into that theory once we finish breaking down the episode. I do think some of it stems back to that scene in Wakanda Forever. That I heard a pretty good theory about that could be pretty plausible down the line once we get more episodes of this and kind of more information about how this show is going to go. But it was proven that was Skrull Everett Ross because he turns into a Skrull when he jumps off the building, very Men in Black style. But
not the real Everett Ross.
Right. So real Everett Ross is, in my opinion, probably in New Skrullos in one of those chambers that we saw with a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
Which we'll get into in just a moment. But Maria Hill arrives to assist Ross, but discovers he's a Skrull and calls Nick Fury, returning to Earth to meet with Talos. Fury learns Talos has been exiled from the Skrull Council, and former ally Gravik has taken a leadership position with the Rebels. Gravik, played by Kingsley Benadir, and I gotta say, for one episode, he is a slimeball son of a gun. You hate him, but that's how you know he's playing a good villain.
Dylan and I have our own gripes we have talked about, so
we were pretty similar. I don't think any of the acting was bad. I just think
no. Like he's going to be a good villain. It's just we have gripes about how they're handling him.
Yeah.
Through one episode.
Where did I leave off here? So Fury's kidnapped as he goes for a walk when he's kind of not advised to throughout Moscow at night. To me, that was like he wanted to get kidnapped. Like he knew what he was doing. That's just the Nick Fury way.
You don't go walking in Moscow as an American at night. Let alone he has like his face. It's so scarred, and he has like I mean, it's very distinct.
So recognizable.
And I don't be the I don't want to be the guy to say, but old black guy in Moscow.
Yes, that also.
There's. I wonder who it could be.
Geographically, yes.
So then Fury is kidnapped by MI6 agents. Let's go. MI6 MCU confirmed.
Which they would also stick out too, to be fair. British people have a pretty profound look.
Mm-hmm. This is a huge introduction that I think kind of gets overlooked because it is such a short scene, but MI6 has such a huge place in the Marvel Comics and will have a huge place in the MCU, especially when live action Peggy Carter comes through from What If, Blade, Captain Britain, You could probably throw
Dane
the likes
Whitman?
of a Moon Knight in there, Dane Whitman.
I think Captain Britain's the one that's only as strong as he is confident or something like that,
Yes.
which is hilarious. Because you'd be like, "You look fat today."
Oh no.
Oh no, my spaghetti.
So I think, the introduction, the soft launch, if you will, of MI6 in the MCU is huge, and I think only further confirms that live action Peggy Carter is making her way from the What If universe sooner rather than later. Obviously, we got that tease in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Earth 838, so that's a huge thing there. And he gets kidnapped by MI6 agents and taken to meet old acquaintance Sonya Falsworth.
What do we call him?
Which is a huge get for the MCU.
Yes. Great.
And
great.
she did an interview where she said she agreed to do this role because she just loves Marvel. She's just a nerd.
Cheers.
I was like, cool. Good. That's good for Marvel.
And
so then
good for her bank account.
Absolutely. So he proposes an alliance to stop Gravik, but she refuses, and using a bug to eavesdrop on her and the Prime Minister, Fury and Talos locate another rebel, Vasily Poprichin, but Fury kills Poprichin after failing to interrogate him. Talos reunites with his daughter Gaia, played by Emilia Clarke, who, if it wasn't made clear in this episode, she is going to be sticking around in the MCU for quite some time. You don't just go and hire Emilia Clarke, have her play this role, and be like, okay, yeah, you're going to be done after 6 episodes. I think she is going to be a mainstay throughout Phase 5.
I mean,
insert me yelling about Christian Bale being a one-off villain, being wasted with like 16 minutes of screen time in
Fair.
In
but
Love
we
and
try
Thunder.
not to talk about Thor 4 like that. But anywho,
you say what? What good actors?
Thor 4 is not canon. We don't talk about
Thor 4 and 7 years ago.
We don't talk about Thor or Thor. We don't talk about Thor and.
Talos reunites with his daughter Gaia, who acquired dirty bombs for the rebels, and after he claims Gravik killed her mother Soren, Gaia reveals the rebels plan to attack Vasadanian Square. Apologies on not being able to pronounce Russian. On Unity Day, and marks the bomb's locations using infrared technology, and they have the glasses on to make sure they can track everything. However, Fury, Hill, and Talos discover the locations are decoys before Gravik detonates the bombs, and in ensuing chaos, Hill is shot by Gravik disguised as Fury, and Fury and Talos are forced to flee and abandon her. Maria Hill left out in the square there, bleeding out. That scene, and I think throughout this first episode too, I don't know if you'll agree, guys, but I was pretty impressed by just like the smooth transition of human to Skrull, and then the way that they did the scene of changing into the different humans as they went behind everything. I thought that was damn near flawless.
Yeah, so my big thing about this whole episode is that is the one scene that I feel is like, of everything that happens in this episode, that's the one note I just don't change. Period. End of the story. Like that is how that entire sequence is handled, especially with Fury following Kingsley Benadier shifting through various forms.
That was cool.
Like that is amazing stuff. I just have problems with everything leading up to that point. So
I think my one
called a villain at that point. It would have been so much more dramatic if you had that reveal of the villain.
Right, so
right
Dylan is leading me into my first part of this, but okay. So, and I would I would shift this around. So I would I would almost get rid of this scene, but like during the meeting between Fury, Talos, and Marie Hill, Talos shows them a photo of Kingsley Ben-Adir's character, right? We should not see his face until that final scene. And here is the thing. When they showed that back room with all the bodies in New Skrullos, we only see him through a glazed window as a black outline. Great job. That's how you should be doing it in a paranoia thriller. But then they immediately fuck it up with the way they shoot the scene in the commissary when the kind of like second in command goes to warn him that Fury is back. That should be shot over the shoulder in a way that we don't see Kingsley Ben-Adir's face. And then they just randomly decide to show his face looking out a window when Amelia Clark comes back. Just shoot it like from behind of just a figure looking out a window, because then that makes the reveal at the end so much more powerful. Because we technically know who's playing it, who that person is, but they're not showing us it. So the right way to do it is toy with us, tease us, and then go through that big sequence of thing. And then when the final change happens and it's shown to be him there, and Fury pulls out the gun and he blows up the thing, that is where the power of the reveal is supposed to be, not showing him in two worthless scenes.
I did have a take about the reveal of Kingsley Ben-Adir so soon. And I could sound totally stupid in 5 weeks or even next week. But the scene from the teaser trailer for this show where the room gets filled with all the Kingsley Ben-Adirs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Put your Marvel tinfoil. It's not the real graphic.
Okay, so here is where I kind of stand on this whole thing. For like how this film should have been, we should not have had Talos in this first episode period. Basically, what should have happened is because Talos gives us too much information. Basically how this episode should have gone is like someone ends up chasing Skrull Everett Ross. And then like Skrull Everett Ross dies jumping off that roof in front of Maria Hill, and it is revealed that person was a Skrull. Fury is then called down. They are starting to get an idea of what's going on. All that Olivia Coleman stuff is happening, we we then like get we then get like Talos and stuff and of him running into his daughter, but they don't have that big talk on the ladder and all that, because it gives us too much information. Like they are feeding us too much in this first episode. Because ideally, after the Gravin reveal at the end of this episode, the start of the next episode would be Fury and Talos talking everything through, and Talos explaining the whole Gravin situation.
I think there's a reason why they did it, though. And it's simply because this show is rumored to / confirmed, without showing us just yet, to have the highest body count of deaths that we're going to have in a MCU show project. I don't think Talos is making it out alive. So I think him feeding all this information out there is just a way to vessel his impending death.
Yes, but my biggest problem is this is supposed to be a paranoia thriller. There is no fucking paranoia in this episode because we're given so much information in the first 20 fucking minutes of this 20 minutes of
That's
this
fair.
show. Like they basically remove so much. They basically remove so much suspense by having Talos give that whole speech in the kitchen. Like it's they are trying to do one thing, but they're not following all the genre rules of the one thing because they're playing down to the audience and feeding us so much information that they're not leaving that much to the imagination when that's supposed to be the big part of this type of genre.
I think it'll get there. I think they give you a lot because I think Secret Invasion is one of those things that, while it is kind of popular amongst the comic book world, and Dylan and I know that for sure, we obviously saw the tweet this week that they're not going off of the comics because they're taking it in a different direction while using the Secret Invasion like moniker. Which, after this first episode, I don't know if you agree, Dylan. I can see why they're straying away from the comic storyline a bit. And I didn't hate the way that it was truly approached, the different from the comics to what we saw in this episode.
You knew they were going to do something different than the comics, because in the comics, if I remember correctly, there's revealed to be several heroes that end up being Skrulls, correct? In the Secret Invasion. So my point is, just from a billing
yes, I believe so.
standpoint, some of those heroes we haven't really even seen, or they're like not even really a thing anymore. So obviously they're not going to like do that in the show because they would have to like bring heroes in for the first time, or bring heroes in that are like dead or not dead, or not even like mentioned. So I think that makes sense. And then obviously, like I said earlier, Talos isn't even good in the comics, so obviously it's very different. Which that's something that Marvel has always done. There's nothing new or indifferent. So I don't hate it. I just kind of mirroring, like to an extent, of what Christian was saying. I just don't like personally how the bad guy was handled, and I do think he also had a point with the suspense being kind of taken out, given the addition of certain scenes. I still think it's one of the better Marvel / Disney shows we've watched, but that also take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. And also, do we think Maria Hill's dead?
She very well could be. Yeah, I'm leaning towards she is dead, but I'm not saying she's dead until we see she's for sure dead at the start of this next episode. Because one, has everyone here seen Guardians 3?
No, so bad with the Marvel.
Dylan, shush, mute ears. Kyle, Chris Pratt. Like, mine should have been dead. Right?
Yeah. I do think the thing with Maria Hill, though, like, you see her get shot on screen and you see her bleeding out on screen. So it also confirms she's not a Skrull. It's not her Skrull stand-in, which also confirms that Talos' wife dead because she was the stand-in for Maria Hill in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I thought was doing the typical, like, hardcore dad move, like fibbing. Like, mom,
right.
particularly not
gotcha.
Dead. I had to get you to come home.
And then that'll teach you to clean your room. But yeah, that kind of confirmed those. I think Hill 95% dead, and I saw somebody say that like she wasn't in the opening credits either, Colby Smulders. So a lot of people were saying like that was kind of a confirmation that like, oh, she was only in this one episode. Who knows? You never know. With Marvel, you never know with any of these kind of genre of shows. But I'm going to say she's 90% dead.
I just feel like the only reason I'm not sure to go with Christian's point is she's one of, like, her and Samuel L. Jackson, in terms of actors, they're, like, so long tenured with Marvel. They've been in so many projects, and they've been done for so long. So unless, like, the Feige brothers or her as a person, as an actor, like, approached them and was like, I want to get written off. You know what I mean? It just feels weird. And I kind of like that aspect. Like, actually, it sounds messed up, but if she actually is dead, like, good for them to kill a character that actually means somewhat of something, not like a random agent. Like, this is Agent blah, 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 and dies.
Like, so
one. It's like, oh, no, Agent Bob, he's dead. So, like, you know what I mean? At least it's someone that has somewhat of gravitas towards it.
Yeah. So, this would... So, I will preface this by saying I was late getting to all of the phase 1 and phase 2 films. Coulson dying in the first Avengers film made me so mad. It made me so mad.
You're not alone.
And this kind of has shades of that. Just like in vibes where it's like, are we actually killing this person? Like, really? Them?
Yeah, which is good on, like I said, it's good on them, and it has everyone kind of like, wow, really them? You know, not like a. And
I think it's part of that soft reset of the MCU too, where it's like, okay, like some of these people that like, one, in real life we can't afford their contracts anymore. Let's kill them off. Two, it's like, okay, we're ushering in like this new era. We need to kind of like drop some of the, for lack of a better term, like dead characters that don't have too much meaning in the project we have confirmed moving forward that we're not going to see. I mean, once Secret Wars comes around, everybody's coming back, and we all know that. So obviously that's why we got to say she's 90% dead for the time being. Did this episode change your guys' minds on anybody else who we may not have mentioned or who we did mention that could be a Skrull moving forward?
I need more information. like we basically spent this entire episode in Russia and got like one scene outside of it, and it was just Brody talking to the president, who we know is probably going to die at some point. So it's like I think
the president's Skrull.
Yeah. So it's kind of just like they can't change my mind on anything when we literally spent all but one scene in one singular city.
I have two new additions to the Skrull watch. Number one, the Skrulls in the comics have like malicious tendencies. They do some really fucked up shit. And they kind of just like go against the grain a little bit in terms of what their actual person that they're replicating does. I am all in pushing the chips in the middle from what we saw and how it was so poorly received by people. They're going to retcon the decision they made in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Sharon Carter that we saw is going to be a Skrull, because how she goes from helping Captain America and being like this ally and everything to then she's a crime syndicate leader moving up ranks and becomes power broker. She's a fucking Skrull, like no doubt about it in my mind. And that's an easy way to fix things in people's minds from that show, because the script was all joggy because of the pandemic and all the rewrites they had to do. It was just a weird handling of that character. I'm all in on them fixing it by saying the Sharon Carter you saw in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a Skrull. The other one I have kind of plays into Wakanda Forever with the Everett Ross thing. Would it be too out of line to say, obviously we saw Everett Ross get kidnapped, right, Christian?
Well,
at the end of Forever by the Midnight Angels.
I would say he got set free because he was being dragged off the prison.
But he gets captured by them. We never see the faces of the Midnight Angels because they're in their outfits. I'm like, if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think we see their faces in them. I could be wrong.
No. Because Okoye is there. She has a line along the lines of like colonizer in chains.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm pulling up Disney Plus and checking this right now, but you can continue making.
So my theory is, would it be too out of pocket to say the Skrulls infiltrated Wakanda at some point, and somebody like an Okoye or something like that is a Skrull?
It's not out of pocket because they obviously are seeking ways to take over and gain power, and Wakanda is like a super city, so it makes sense.
And there's gotta be a way that we get, because we didn't even mention, like, Secret Invasion Episode 1 happens in present day MCU. Like, this is what's going on in the now. Like, the blip, it's post blip. It's what's going on in the MCU now.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't get any idea of how Skrull Everett Ross came to be. Like, how did he get, put into New Skrullos or wherever to have his mind and his feelings and his image? Man, the Skrulls are the initiators of stealing NIL money. We never get that answer of how we got Skrull version of Ross, and there's got to be some bridge gapped between the time he's, captured by the Midnight Angels in Wakanda Forever to this point in time in the MCU. Something had to have happened. I'm sure. At least I hope we get an answer to that. And there's a lot of important people connected to Ross in the United States government, and one of them in the comics is confirmed to be a Skrull, and that is our bad girl Val, Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character. She is a Skrull in the comics. I'm still convinced she's going to end up being a Skrull at some point. If they follow along with that portion of the storyline, that makes a ton of sense, because she just popped up out of nowhere as well. I think my big additions are potentially somebody from Wakanda and then Sharon Carter.
All right, Kyle. So I just cross-checked. We only see one Midnight Angel. The mask comes off and is revealed to be Okoye, who and all she says is a colonizer in chains. Now I have seen everything. Which, if you think about it, Skrull, it could make sense, but
very true.
Again, it's only one Midnight Angel.
Yeah.
It's not like there's two of them. There's only one.
So I think there's plausibility to that theory, potentially.
Yes.
Dylan, did your mind get changed about any of your predictions, or did you get anybody added to your roster, potentially seeing how the Skrulls were handled in this episode?
I just think anybody that's like governmentally tied, so in terms of like superheroes, so anyone that's like overly in the government, so like a Rhodey, somebody like that, which I do, like I said before, I think Rhodey's just a Skrull. I don't know. I'm trying
I
to
saw
think back.
another one too, Hawkeye's wife.
I don't fucking know about that one.
Maybe. I think it has to be
Because
someone.
she was in S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's true. I think not knocking the character, but it has to be someone a little more meaningful and with more screen time, or else no one's gonna care. Like you can reveal the president or a couple like leaders are Skrulls, and that makes sense given the political tie-ins to the trying to create like unrest and like war and stuff. But then if you're gonna reveal superheroes, it has to be someone like Rhodey or someone that's like killing off Maria Hill and then like revealing Rhodey's a Skrull and then throwing in another hero that's like the same popularity level as Rhodey, maybe a little less. That will actually make people like, wow.
I'm kind of going down the line of what you brought up last week, Dylan, with what's the name? I'm totally blanking on it. Where it was like Norman Osborn, but they're kind of replacing it with Ross. The Dark, not Dark Avengers, but if you guys listen to last week's episode, you know what we're talking about. I don't think they're going to reveal. What was that?
I think it is called. Let's see. I think it is called Dark Avengers.
I don't think they're going to reveal heroes to be Skrulls the way they're going, especially since they said they're not really following the comic book line. I think it's going to be very government heavy and like the agent type of things that get revealed as Skrulls.
Which would very much fit with this genre, as I keep ranting, that we're doing a paranoia political thriller, and that these type of films are coming like distrust in the government, distrust in organizations. Hence, that would make a bunch of sense.
And I think not enough people are talking enough about how throughout this first episode, it was brought to the attention of Nick Fury. It's like, you've been different since the blip. Like, the blip changed you.
He's not a fucking Skrull.
I don't think he's a Skrull, but I think something is going to be revealed that changed him when he got blipped.
Well, if he got blipped into not existing, then it would be like what happened when he returned, if anything, right?
Yeah, because I mean, when he returned, he was up on that spaceship.
Well, no. When again, this is me probably like trying to remember back, but like he got snapped in New York City outside of his car. Why would he be snapped back into a spaceship?
Well, that's the next place we saw his character.
Yeah. So my guess is, and now this may be wild, but like there's some personal grief involving Tony and stuff like that. That's my only guess. Because basically he and Tony started the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Really, even though like Cap is kind of the starting thing, but like Tony is the like jumping point.
Right.
Tony and him were like he had to convince Tony, but Tony then kind of became the face of it, became the leader of it, and so his death, and this is me just like maybe I'm just talking shit at this point, but it is something that I feel like we could be talking about.
I stand corrected because the next time we saw Nick Fury, he was at Tony's funeral.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still a shit ton of questions to be answered about this show, which we love. I hope the run times are always like this because it was an enjoyable watch. Just being able to sit down and not feel like they rush through like 30 minutes of content. My only gripe too, for this episode that stood out to me, what the fuck is that fruit that homie was eating? Because that was such a bad prop.
Yeah, it was very CGI.
It was gross. Like, at least give us like some sort of like fruit juice pouring out of it or something. Make it into like a gusher. Like, it just looked like a 3D printed like garbage prop piece. Like, that was just so bad. That was like my one like, oh, what is that? Last thing before we give our scores to Christian, you sent it in the group chat. It's obviously been confirmed now. The opening title sequence was created with AI. I'll let you sound off, Christian.
Sound off.
Pay artists, don't use machines, because by doing stuff like this, you make the people who make your movies, who make your stuff mad, and thus they don't want to work with you as much. So this is just bad for business. And also, I get the idea behind it, but a person could have made something that looks just like that, and it's setting a dangerous precedent. I don't care what PR line you were trying to tell. It's very meh. Like, come on, Disney, be better. But then again, you're Disney, so why do I expect you to be better?
Dude, I agree. I'll add one last point. If it's really about like cutting costs or just whatever, I'm not saying like. Honestly, you could literally just go to the Philadelphia. You can go to the what's the college for the artists in Philadelphia called? PAFA?
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, I can go there, right? And I can say, hey, I'm making a show for frickin' Disney/Marvel. I need some people to submit some ideas. I'll credit you in the scene, you know what I mean? In the credits.
Yeah.
Finalists will be paid like a little bit, like $100. People will line up. It's a chance for them to get recognized. And guess what? You're supporting local artists. Boom. 2 birds, 1 stone. It really isn't that hard.
Yeah. Ali Salem said they used AI vendors, whatever that means. Quote, it just came right out of the shape-shifting Skrull world identity,
I guess. I mean, but it also, I don't know. I'm with Christian on that as well. And most people, it just takes away from artists. And Kyle and I know a couple of talented people we went to high school with that are artists, and people like that deserve to have a job and be able to pursue their passion.
We're going to be working with some talented artists for Up to Something season, so.
Kyle, Cam Whitmore's still on the board at 20. What the fuck is going on?
The NBA draft.
Yeah.
It's like no other. So let's give our rankings for Secret Invasion episode 1. Dylan, I'll start with you.
Okay, well, it's definitely not in the 8s, given all the issues. But I have a hard time giving it like a 5 or anything like bad. So I don't know. I guess I'll go like a flat 7. It's not really. It's like I think that's still probably a little too high. But to me, a 7's good enough where I would tell someone to watch it, but just don't like teeter your expectations. I don't know. I think 7.
Yeah. I'm having a similar issue to.
It's not dog shit. There are quite a few qualities that I like.
Yeah, like there's plenty of stuff to like. It's just there's flaws we have with it, and I don't know how to properly value it, because like it is a pretty like good show in principle, which is what complicates the whole thing. So I'm just gonna say like 6-9 because like
Nice.
it. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like it's between it's between like a 6.5 and a 7.2, but I feel like going above a 7 is like being too nice to it.
Yeah.
So.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. A lot of elements that I think were needed for this show to like progress the overall phase that we're in, and just the MCU as a whole. I think if we are correct in the 90% that Maria Hill is killed, like doing that in episode 1, that's a big like jaw drop way to end your first episode. And there's a lot of elements in this that I liked. So I'm going to give it a 7.7, which you add that up and divide it by 3. That gives our score a 7.2 out of 10 for episode 1 of Secret Invasion. Not bad. We've had worse.
No, I think that's fair, given that we had our concerns and gripes with it. And Christian and I both, I think we all agreed that we were hoping it would be like in the 8s as an overall record or rating kind of show, and it still could get. If it blows us away, it still could get there, math wise.
Yeah, like they realistically, if they change some stuff around with how they handled this first episode, we're probably talking a high 7s at worst. But the problem is they just don't fully nail it.
So there it is. Secret Invasion, man. Episode 1 in the books, which brings us to the Titan Submarine Saga. It's brought to you by our awesome friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small bad eyewear in the game. And guys, with the amount of memes coming out about this submarine, you're going to need Blue Light Plus glasses to protect your eyes while you're scrolling through your timelines, looking at all these funny ha-has. Go to TomahawkShades.com, get your sunglasses, your blue light glasses, your prescription lenses, and protect those eyes. And when you go to checkout, use promo code USP for 25% off your order. I've been wearing Tomahawk Shades this entire time I've been in Columbus, protecting my eyes outside, checked them inside while I've been editing, working a conference. You gotta make sure your eyes are well rested. So go to TomahawkShades.com, code USP for 25% off your order. The Titan Submarine Saga has come to a close in terms of they gone. They did. There's a lot in terms of television and movie crossover with this. The one I'm going to start with, because I'll let Christian cook with James Cameron, but Dylan, I don't know if you saw this. The Simpsons predicted this happening.
Yeah, I saw that, and
What?
I think before you plan your next activity or vacation, you're better off just skimming through The Simpsons, making sure that they didn't put it in there.
Simpsons sub implosion.
Yes. So I'm pulling it up right here because I sent it in.
Send it to me.
Chat.
Okay. I think I found a video of it.
So, a 2006 episode of The Simpsons featured Homer in a submarine visiting a shipwreck before his submersible gets stuck and runs out of oxygen. The episode was produced by Mike Reese, who himself visited the Titanic shipwreck in the same exact Titan submersible. And this was one of the last, if not the last, episode that he was the executive producer on.
Yeah, I believe someone posted a review saying he was like he felt like it was unsafe when he wrote it then, like the guy or something like that.
I'm fully of the belief now that the creators, anybody who is a higher up on The Simpsons, has time traveling capabilities.
Dude, it'd be funny if that's true. Because they use it to just subtly not. I get maybe it's not. Maybe it's ingenious because they're like telling the future without breaking the rules. Like, we'll put it in the cartoon. People still don't actually listen to us, even though we put it in there.
Like, the amount of things that The Simpsons have, like, predicted, quote unquote,
Trump
is
twice.
eerie. Trump twice. Like, the fact that they predicted the most absurd Major League Baseball issue when the Cardinals and Astros had like their information stealing thing. Like, it's ridiculous how much these guys know. And the fact that this happens and they sort of predicted it, and the guy who executive produced that episode went on this submersible, like, it's just absurd. The Simpsons are time traveling wizards. That's what I have on that. Christian, obviously, James Cameron sleeps at nothing to get his name out there for the people. And as soon as it's confirmed that these inhabitants of the vessel die, Hollywood doesn't sleep for anything. They called up James Cameron himself and said, "Let's get comments from the man, the myth, the legend."
Well, and I was talking about this. And I was talking about this with with you, Kyle, before Dylan hopped on. But James Cameron is the modern Renaissance man. This is a guy who's done everything in films except act. Like he has hand painted stuff for he hand painted sets for John Carpenter's Escape from New York. He has written and directed 3 of the 4 highest selling films of all time. Not adjusted for inflation, to be clear. He owns a farm in New Zealand that produces organic food that he then sells at a grocery store that he owns in New Zealand. He is invested in plant-based protein. He has built submarines to which he tested for 3 years to travel to the depths of the ocean. This man is what people make out Elon Musk to be. Everyone wants to talk up Elon. James Cameron can almost explain anything to you. Like, he is that smart. He's both maybe the.
He's that guy.
Yeah, he's.
You are that guy, pal. You are that, that guy.
He's not only the most one of the most technically sound filmmakers ever, but he's someone always pushing it. So having him, someone who's spent the better part of 25 years between making the Titanic and the second Avatar film, doing submarine documentaries and going to the bottom of the ocean and stuff. To comment on this, this is one of the few things I think he can truly comment on. And then, Kyle, when AI starts getting really out of hand, we can call him because he wrote the Terminator films.
Yeah.
Because
he was
Skynet, everybody. James Cameron saw this coming. Skynet becomes aware. AI becomes aware. James Cameron, everybody.
I said James Cameron is licking his chop, knowing that he can now do the crossover event of the century and combo wombo Titanic 2, The Abyss, and Avatar, or whatever it'll be, like 5 or 6, all into one and be the James Cameron verse. Because how funny would it be? You know, he just makes it so that the vessel goes into the ocean, they're out there, and then the Na'vi find it under their oceans, and that's where the vessel is at. Like that, James Cameron's just he's sitting there like Mr. Burns. This is what we call a callback. Excellent. This is his wet dream, all pun intended.
Yo, hey yo.
Hey yo. I do have to say, everybody online talking about how tragic it is. Yes, it's sad that these people died. But it's also like they were billionaires who knew what they were doing. They got into this like amusement park ride esque thing that you see set up across the street from Citizens Bank Park in April when they have that carnival going on, and it had pieces inside for you to like hold on to that were purchased at Camping World, no free shoutouts, for $32.99. It was controlled by a Logitech Xbox controller. I said this on the main pod. It's a good thing Dom wasn't controlling the vessel, because if they put FIFA on the screen, that controller would have been long gone. Shout out to the boy. Like the paperwork that they had to sign mentioned death 3 times. Like, these people knew what they were signing up for and still went along with laughed very hard at someone saying, you know, if you got trapped in there, would you still hit your vape? Like the jokes have been all time internet. Like the whole issue with the orcas who are like overturning yachts and everything, when they said that, you know, underwater they heard a big bang in the area of where the vessel might have been. Somebody photoshopped orcas with pots and pans in their hands. I was screaming. Like, the memes have been all-time internet 1.0 from this, and that's how we, as millennials and Gen Z and like younger America, that's how we deal with trauma. We like to make memes and we like to laugh.
Yeah, like, see, here is the thing. Right, conservative people are basically trying to be like, oh my god, this is all so detestable and everything about how people are reacting to this. And it's like, it's 2 billionaires and a son, which, sorry about the son, but that's kind of an afterthought in this whole thing, who, if we're being honest, by the fact of being billionaires, 90% of society doesn't give a fuck about them, because the very wealthy people are viewed mostly as a negative to society at some point. So I'm just saying,
sorry to these mans.
Yeah, you are just collateral. Your legacy has now become collateral damage in the continuing class war that is the United States of America.
Sugar, we're going down swimming. That's what
No, that's illegal. That's fucking illegal, Dylan. No, that's not okay.
I just thought of that.
A vessel god complex imploded and pull it.
Oh my god.
The other one that I saw that was really fucking great was the ocean was listening to humans. They eat the rich for far too long and finally acted on it.
Oh god.
The only one
Kyle.
that made me like spit out when I drank was like, imagine going in a submarine, closing your eyes, and waking up at a Kobe Bryant basketball game.
Oh.
I was like, yo.
Nah, that's not okay.
I know, that's why I said
bro.
the only one that made me like do a double take was
that person should be in prison.
Kyle, we have now found our social media clip.
Good grief!
This last minute and a half stretch.
That, and then the ones where it's like, I saw is me going to find my man's if he was trapped in the submarine. It's just somebody on this little like scooter boat like going down under the ocean.
Oh no! I just thought of another really bad one.
Oh boy!
Drake and Josh. Drake, where is the? Oh, I'm evil, right?
What if the vessel just shrunk and they just never said it to Wumbo?
You gotta put it.
I also saw one it was Mr. Krabs changing the prices on the Krusty Krab menu. It was Mr. Krabs when he caught wind that the vessel full of billionaire was making its way to Bikini Bottom.
The internet is undefeated when things happen like this because I think everyone just has groupthink mentality, and they also people want to inadvertently get like the best meme.
Yeah,
so
like see,
races to create some toxic fire meme.
We as a culture have consumed so much content over the past, let's just say, 80 years that that now people of our generation, anytime something happens, our minds just immediately go to a meme, a gif, a moment, and that's how we communicate our response to it.
I also saw one that said it's a shame that the vessel didn't have a GPS because there's only one address under the ocean, and it's 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Brother.
Bravo.
So there it is, the Titan Submarine Saga. Tweet us your best submarine memes because we'll retweet the good ones. And we love a good laugh. But let's get into everybody's favorite segment. It is the streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia, and Dylan's favorite beverage of choice when he's reading his favorite submarine memes. Kenny got a facelift, boys. Kenwood Beer, whole new rebrand, brand new logos, and the new cans have gold tops, plus a brand new merch on their website. Dylan, I know you're going to love this one. They've got the Kenwood Hockey Club shirts up.
Okay, well, that's really cool.
Hit the fry, shut up, and take my money. They've got the Kenny Softball League shirts, Kenny Golf Club, and all the brand new Kenwood beer shirts available on their website, plus all new Kenny cans, looking good, gold tops. Who doesn't love a splash of gold on their beer can? You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the all-new and improved Kenny trackers. You've got facelifted Kennys on tap in the Philadelphia area. You can buy it at your local Philadelphia area liquor store, or if you're in Eastern Pennsylvania, your local Whole Foods. Light body, light calories, plenty of flavor, the best light beer on the planet. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Leading off where we just ended there, James Cameron, Avatar 3 has been pushed back to December 2025.
A lot of things have been pushed back.
A lot of things. We have the 3 Star Wars movies that got announced at Celebration. They now have release dates. I'm sure these are all tentative, but they are pretty far down in the future. May 22nd, 2026, December 18th, 2026, and December 17th, 2027. One of those is obviously the Mandoverse movie, which I would have to guess is probably the last one, depending on how world building continues to go on the Disney Plus shows. But those are the dates there for the Star Wars movies. We have new MCU release dates for movies. Deadpool 3 now coming out May 3rd, 2024. Captain America 4 will now come out August 26th, 2024. The Thunderbolt will come out December 20th, 2024. Blade has been pushed to Valentine's Day 2025.
Will Blade ever happen? Tune in next week.
The Fantastic Four has been moved to May 2nd, 2025. Avengers Kang Dynasty has been moved to May 1st, 2026. And Avengers Secret Wars has been pushed to May 7th, 2027. And Disney recently paused filming on Blade and Thunderbolts, which led to a ripple effect on the rest of the MCU.
We're never getting Blade!
Circling back to Avatar, I want us all to think about this for a second. Avatar 5's release date is listed as 2031. Think about how old you're going to be then.
No thanks.
I'm going to be 7.
Bryce Harper will only have a year and a half left on his Phillies contract at that point.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
That's honestly an amazing fact. But it's like the first Avatar film came out in 2009. The fifth one will come out in 2031.
Can we not?
Now we're really making Dylan feel old. Instead of going back in time, we're going forward in time. That's how we got to do it.
Yeah, clearly.
We got confirmation from James Gunn. He says the first DCU character is Blue Beetle, and the first full DCU movie is his Superman film. So I guess the Blue Beetle movie is going to be something you got to watch if you want to follow along with James Gunn's DCU.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care that George Lopez is in it and he calls Batman a fascist. I don't care.
James Gunn says we'll go straight into Peacemaker season 2 when he's finished Superman.
Okay, on a Peacemaker note, James has not made it clear if it is DC main canon or DC Elseworlds, but what would be immensely funny, and I'm stealing this from someone on Twitter. What if Peacemaker is the only character that remembers the old DCU, and him running into these new characters, he gets so confused because they look totally different?
That would be great. That'd be so
amazing.
That would be popular.
Technically, did interact with some of the original Suicide Squad movie characters, so wouldn't be too often. Harrison Ford, when asked if he turns into Red Hulk in Captain America 4, what is a Red Hulk?
Kyle, I think your mic's going a little wonky.
What's a what?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Harrison Ford, when he was asked if he turns into Red Hulk in Captain America 4, quote, what is a Red Hulk?
No, Kyle, what is a Red Hulk?
Did we think he was gonna say? I made the joke before. He doesn't care. He just wants his paycheck.
Well, I said now we got to ask him who wins in a fight: Han Solo, Indiana Jones, or Red Hulk.
He's gonna go, get off my plane, jackass.
He's gonna.
I'm the president of the United States, motherfucker.
James Gunn says the Guardians of the Galaxy would easily, quote, beat the shit out of the Avengers.
No. Next.
Wait, what? He said what?
He said that the Guardians of the Galaxy would easily, quote, beat the shit out of the Avengers.
Comic book Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe a better chance. Not MCU. Drax is so under MCU.
Our boys over at Culture Crave also tweeted Avengers in 5, by the way.
Dude, the Hawk alone would fucking body all of them. And not
this.
Yeah, that's just bad.
Yeah,
bad.
I think Hulk beats Drax. Iron Man beats Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Rocket and Captain America would be pretty fun.
Drax versus Hulk.
Doctor Strange solo for them.
I think the only one that stands a formidable chance against anyone might be Groot.
No, I'm so sorry. Hold on. It is Groot versus Hulk, and then just for the memes, Drax versus Black Widow.
God damn it!
Right?
Yeah, Avengers in 5. Tom Holland says he has a group chat with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire called the Spider Boys. The last thing they talked about was having them all sign a poster to auction off at charity, quote, Spider-Man stuff, to which Tom Holland, it's also been revealed, he kept the secret of No Way Home the longest because Andrew Garfield got by that DoorDash driver. Tobey Maguire got caught going to set. Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, said flat out, yeah, I'm doing Spider-Man again. And then Willem Dafoe, I think, was in an interview and or something. He got caught as well. So the fact that Tom Holland, notorious leaker of Marvel things, was able to keep it a secret the longest is pretty funny.
Well, I think it helps that Tom wasn't caught in that set photo either.
Yeah.
So,
Chris Miller says Beyond the Spider-Verse will feature other Gwen Stacy variants. Quote, it is sort of plot integral.
So we're gonna get Spider-Punk's home, which is gonna be wild.
Yeah.
We're gonna get multiple Gwen Stacy's. Who do we want to voice the Gwen Stacy's? Okay, so one of them has to be Emma Stone or else.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm all for that.
Trying to think of who else might.
I just want them to do more Spider-Man variants, but also explain, or not explain, but have some bigger parts of the next one as well.
Mm-hmm. And also, this fucking sucks and it's stupid. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been banned across the Middle East. Many believe it was because of a, quote, protect trans kids flags that appears in the film. Fuck you. Trans rights are equal rights. And if you don't believe that, go fuck yourself. Moving right along here on my list. Where'd you go? 'Cause I just lost it. Here we go.
Kings have traded Rashawn Holmes in the number 24 pick to Dallas.
Interesting. Samuel L. Jackson. We talked about this earlier. Dylan mentioned it, but Samuel L. Jackson has no plans to retire as Nick Fury. Quote, as long as my phone rings, they can call me.
Good man, Sam.
You're a good man, Nick Fury.
He knows.
He knows.
He knows what.
He likes that money.
Now tell him, bring me my money.
Show me the money.
Steven Spielberg's Jaws was released 48 years ago this week.
Iconic movie.
Music still terrifying to this day.
One of the best movies of all time.
One of the best mainstream movies of all time, by far.
Phil Lord confirms they put LeBron James and Dwayne Wade's handshake in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Don't give a fuck.
It's just
okay?
awesome. I think it was cool. Fun little touch there. Looking here, Arnold Schwarzenegger also has no plans to retire from acting. Quote, action heroes don't retire, they just reload. Put that on a fucking shirt.
Legend.
That's the most Arnold quote.
Yeah,
It's so good. And like I mentioned, Secret Invasion takes place in present-day MCU after the events of She-Hulk. We also had the Netflix to Dumb event happen this past weekend where we got news of somebody joining the cast of Stranger Things 5. The one and only Linda Hamilton will be in Stranger Things Season 5. We also got our first looks at some of the characters in the Avatar The Last Airbender project that's coming to Netflix.
Show me a full trailer.
There was a teaser trailer. It's like 40 seconds, but...
Yes, but it doesn't show any actual footage. It's just like earth, air, water.
Did you guys watch the Kraven the Hunter trailer?
That
I was just going to bring that up.
Man. It looks fucking horrific.
Got the Craven trailer that comes out in October.
The real question is, have you watched the Challengers trailer?
Challengers. That sounds familiar. I think I did. Oh.
Kyle, have you watched the Challengers trailer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And but more importantly, the trailer for Dumb Money dropped today. Do you know what Dumb Money is?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it then?
It's the GameStop movie.
Yep. But have you watched the trailer?
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, no.
All right. We will watch it after the episode. And then, speaking of Netflix things. An absolutely horrific looking live action One Piece trailer dropped, and I'm like, Netflix, please stop. Please stop, for the life of you, remaking anime into live action. I thought you learned your lesson with Cowboy Bebop, but apparently you did not.
Mid. I don't know.
Mid Bob.
They just can't make it into. I'm gonna get mad. Yeah, you're right.
The rights to the Incredible Hulk have now returned to Marvel Studios, and it is now on Disney Plus.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Looking here, Rosario Dawson said that Ahsoka can be treated as a season 5 of Rebels, which I think is pretty interesting. Dylan and I are going to go on a Rebels journey to get ready for Ahsoka in August. But I think that's a pretty interesting quote from Rosario Dawson to just flat out say, yeah, this is just live action Rebels season 5.
That's a very interesting quote indeed, good sir.
Moving right along here. Dylan, do you watch Primal on I don't know what
The one where the dude befriends a dinosaur?
yeah.
I didn't watch it because I know it was gonna be sad.
Season 3 is now in production, so at least it's lasting.
That's
My
good.
dad watched season 1, I think.
That's a random show for him to watch. I love that.
I know. The Penguin show coming to Max is officially rated TV mature audiences.
I'm happy. Cheers.
Fine.
Very. Woody and Buzz Lightyear are confirmed to return for Toy Story 5.
Why? Toy Story should have ended with fucking Toy Story 3, but here we are, 2 more films later.
No, you need more.
Give me all the toys.
More IP to get kids to theaters so we make money who care about the original idea. Yeah.
Speaking of Toy Story 3, it released 13 years ago this week.
Salud.
Beyond the Spider-Verse, writers say Spider-Punk's universe will further be explored in the film. Quote, it will be a wholly new feast for the eyes.
I'm down. Give me more Kaluza, baby.
World pays homage to 70s London punk. We tried to recreate the collage imagery for album covers, zines, and posters from that era. And he lives in Old York, not New York.
New York.
Looking right along my list here. Ben Mendelsohn was, quote, very intimidated to work with Emilia Clarke on Secret Invasion. Quote, you don't understand. I watched Game of Thrones 4 times, like cover to cover. I was nervous. Quote, I didn't know what to expect. And then you made meals, and I was just like, and we had to sit by a lake with a lot of ducks, a lot of planes. That's the only spoiler you get from me.
Okay.
Okay? Question mark?
Weird flex, Ben. Weird flex. 7 years ago this week, Dylan, Battle of the Bastards was released.
Dude, that is peak cinema. You haven't lived, Kyle. You haven't watched that.
I have not. Scarlett Johansson wants to make a film with Tom Cruise, and he says it's going to happen. Quote, I've watched her career her whole life. She's enormously talented. She could do everything, comedy, drama, action, suspense, so absolutely.
Oh, you mean movie film?
Tom Cruise don't do TV, homie.
God damn it, Dylan. God damn it. The amount of clips we have for this show is ridiculous. Scarlett Johansson, congratulations. You are now a Scientologist.
Yeah.
Looking here. Russell Crowe says sequel films are, quote, lazy, but Ridley Scott has a, quote, great idea for Gladiator 2. Quote, it's such a rich and interesting world. He's been thinking about it for a long time. He has a very sure and clear idea. It's a different story altogether.
They've actually started filming already, and if you guys didn't see, multiple people got hospitalized after a stunt.
Well, that's good.
So yeah,
That means they're doing practical effects.
yeah, but it's bad because multiple people got hospitalized. Now, it was all just minor things, but it's still like,
Marvel Studios will skip Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and Universal and HBO are potentially sitting it out as well.
See, here's what has to happen. I need Warner Brothers to go there and drop the biggest fucking Dune presentation in existence to just have that film make like 800 million and be like, and I can just yell desert power and scream, I was right, I was always right.
We got confirmation we're getting a director's cut of John Wick 4.
It is almost done, and I'm curious how long this thing's gonna be because the film itself is like the non-director's cut's like 2 hours 40 minutes. I'm like,
damn,
are we talking a 3-hour John Wick? Which, like, cheers, I'll take it, but like,
I'll watch it.
Big Daddy Pedro Pascal says The Mandalorian Season 3 was, quote, mostly a voiceover gig. The experience was very surgical post-work. The dialogue tone, the stuff was on set for. Being able to review that again, hear how it sounds, it's unbelievable how well the mic picks that up. Looking right here, we have... who's ready for Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk in a cage fight?
All of that. That's going to be really lackluster.
Welcome to the Social Network. Social Network 2 coming to theaters.
Here is the ultimate question, though. Will it be streaming on Twitter or Facebook?
Both simultaneously.
I'm going to say it's going to stream on Kick because they're going to give the NBA contracts like they're going to streamers. We also got quotes from the Blue Beetle director on his character saying, "We are not tied to all the films from the past. Quote, we are part of the universe. We are part of the world. We are part of the plans that they have been creating for the future installments of the DCU." Looking here, Amelia Clark says the MCU is the best franchise she's joined. Quote, it's on its own level. Quote, Game of Thrones is such a unique experience. We didn't know what the hell we were doing most of the time, and then it just became the big thing. Ben Mendelsohn adds that there's, quote, not a lot of drama.
Let's see. Amelia Clark has been involved in Game of Thrones, in Marvel, in Robot Chicken. She's technically been involved in Star Wars. She's been involved in Terminator. Yeah.
She actually has. She's been in quite a few. And Ben Mendelsohn's been in Star Wars as well. Along with Marvel.
Here. Dylan, good news for you. Guardians Volume 3 releases on digital July 7th.
I saw that, and I was like, all right, just gotta wait a little bit longer, world.
Samuel L. Jackson told Entertainment Weekly that Marvel will shoot down drones flown over their sets while filming. Quote, they followed one back to where the dude was, found him, and yeah, they got him. Samuel L. Jackson recalls another time there where Marvel set up a fake buy for a stolen Avengers script in 2012. Quote, they found out who it was, dude quit, left the country, they set up a fake buy, dude didn't show up. It was crazy.
That's hilarious because there's been memes that Marvel or Kevin Feige has snipers, but now that all confirms it's true, like on set, just a guy waiting.
Whole skeet shooting drones.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people and there's just a guy decked out with like skeet shooting material, and it's like, what's that guy's job? He shoots down the drones.
What?
He's the drone. He's the drone getter.
He's the drone handler.
Last bit that I have here, Christian and I talked about this before Dylan hopped in, before we started recording. Warner Brothers Discovery is in talks to sell half of the studio's film and TV music publishing assets for around $500 million. It is believed to include music from Purple Rain, Rent, and several Batman films. And Sony is the studio said to be in the lead.
Death to Warner Music Group. Goodbye. Every YouTuber hates you.
That's true.
That's all I've got. Is there anything I potentially missed along the way?
I think that's it on my end. My brain's also fried right now, so I don't know.
The only thing I'll add is Emmy voting has started. So, award season is coming.
So there it is. Award season on the way. We will have more Secret Invasion next week. We'll have Ted Lasso season 3 getting underway for us next week. So make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow Christian on Twitter at @thewiz_PHI. Follow Dylan at Dylan Mazzola. And follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get the podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and review. And Dylan, time traveler yourself, say the line.
Time travel! Let us know what to watch in that comment section of YouTube, in those reviews. Let us know what to watch in terms of movie, TV show, you name it. We have all the services besides Max. It's a sore subject. Kyle doesn't have it. But other than that, we got it all.
And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show and every podcast on our network. You get shorts, streams, original content, all of that on our YouTube channel. Go subscribe. We're at 515 subscribers right now, looking to get to 600 sooner rather than later. So go subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. And you guys know at that 1K challenge once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia, and get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground for 10% off any and all merch orders. But this has been another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform, TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Christian, for Dylan, I'm KB. We're going to go avoid getting captured by Skrulls and potentially sinking to the bottom of the ocean in a vessel. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.